¿Qué lo que, Knicks fans? Welcome to episode 46 of Knicks Fans While and recording this episode after, what else can I say? I say this every episode. Another cardiac Knicks game, roller coaster of emotion, but the Knicks actually get a W against the Heat this game. So we're going to talk about it, man. It was an up and down game, a lot of good, a lot of bad. But I want to start off by shout out to MSG. We not sponsored by MSG or anything, but I did something for them. If they want to sponsor us, talk to me. My phone number is accessible. My Twitter, everything's accessible. Holla at me. But stop. They gave me a signed basketball by Jalen Brunson. That was pretty cool, right? Look at that. You see that? Oh, got the light all over it. But this is a signed Jalen Brunson basketball, man. I'm hyped. I'm excited. And this is right here. This is special right here. A piece of the Madison Square Garden wood right here. Madison Square Garden, 2004 to 2011. You already know Carmelo stepped on this floor. He hit a three, went like this, stepped on this ground, and now it's standing right next to me right here. This is fire. This is just building up. You already know, man. Triple M. This is what being a fan is. You know, you get these special memorabilias and you remember it forever. So shout out to them. And let's go right into the game. I gotta bring in my guy Don Juan in the building. What's good, bro?
Yo, what's going on, man? Some nice little thing to add to your collection, man. You
I'm
know, build up that
saying
man cave and whatnot. Coming soon, coming soon. But as your boy Don Juan in the building, coming off of a crazy win, man. My chest is hurting still, but you know it's Knicks, man. It's how they reel us in. It's how they keep our blood rushing and whatnot. But I'm excited to be here. Keep talking about Knicks, man. My boys out here getting dubs. I was out here last week. I said they should get this win, and guess what? They got the dub, man. I shout out to my guys out there. It wasn't pretty, but we got the dub, man. But you know,
it
it's Knicks
wasn't pretty.
basketball.
What's the saying? It wasn't pretty, but it was gritty. And that's the
Mm,
saying right there. It
that's a
wasn't
fact.
pretty, but it was gritty. So yes, but coming back, bro. It's been a while since we heard from our guy. Six man of the year. Um Zebo, what's good, bro? You've been gone. You've been missing for a while.
My guys, was good, man. Yeah, man. I missed it. I missed it last week. When my guy Julius Randle dropped that 37 piece. But best believe, I had to pop out when my guy got that All Star nod today. So,
Mm.
My man
the
keeping
things right now,
tabs. He
man.
said he
Yeah,
had 37 last game. He didn't come through. And now he's back for the All Star now. Well, you already know.
of course.
Last time I said it, there was no Zebo at the show, so there was no RJ Love, but Zebo's back. So get ready for a lot of RJ Love as he just got announced All Star. But fellas, let's talk about this thrilling or whatever it was for you guys. New York Knicks win, up and down. Typical Knicks game, man. I saw the other day they was saying football is scripted. We should really inquire about if Knicks games are scripted because it's the same thing every game. Knicks up big, Knicks blow the lead, fourth quarter comes, Knicks come back, and then the Knicks blow the lead again and lose. But today, fellas, today was different, and they won 104, 106. Just a crazy back and forth game, 1990 style, low scoring. This was a game that only if you're a fan of this team, you would enjoy. You would enjoy that only that because the offense was crazy, like limited, and it there's a lot to decompress this video. So before I go, Don Juan, I'm gonna start with you, bro. What you thought about this win, the up and downs of it, and who was a player that you want to show love to today?
Player I want to show love to. Well, first of all, great win. We needed this win. This is a team that that he always gives us trouble. A team is gonna be in the battle with us for that six spot, maybe even fifth. If we get lucky and whatnot. But it's still a team. We still gotta get a dub in the conference. Great win. But man, these Knicks were putting us through hell, bro. My chest it still hurts from that game, man. My anxiety was on 1,000, but we got the dub. But one guy I want to show love to, I've been coming at him been calling for his name to get traded, is iHeart. I want to show love to the bench in general, but iHeart's been playing great as of late, great for what he's capable of. But at the same time, Mitch been hurt. Mitch is hurt, and we needed somebody to step up. Sims, he be doing his thing here and there, but iHeart offensively was played great last game. Today, defensively, grabbing boards, out here making his presence felt, contesting every shot. He had a tough assignment in Bam, and Bam went off, but overall, iHeart played good, contributing some valuable minutes off the bench. And yeah, even the bench, bro. The bench showed out, man. That bench mob is something that we've been calling out all season. The bench is the depth ain't really much on this team, and we got some help from our guys, McBride, OB, and whatnot. iHeart. Let's keep it going, man. The bench mob needs to wake up. It's about damn time. We needed them, especially now with the trade deadline around the corner. We might add a little something to the bench mob. So we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, bro, great point with the bench because the Knicks started off hot, and then the second quarter came and the Heat just really came back, and the bench was really weak that quarter in the second quarter. Knicks they were up three at the half, and then the third quarter comes and listen, Julius looked exhausted at the end of that third quarter, so I feel like he really needed that breather. And as you mentioned, Don Juan, the bench, contributions all around. Even Evan Fournier, he was really going crazy on
Mhm.
defense, made a
Real
couple
active.
threes,
Real
and
active on defense.
McBride two clutch threes. Obi made a couple shots, and it really. I think Julius came back in with like 6 minutes or something left in the
Mhm.
fourth, and I felt like that was so big because you could tell he was a little fresher and he came back and the Knicks finished the job. But before I go to Zebo, man, this win, bro, I just feel like it's a good win. Obviously, a Knicks win is always good, but I still be getting tight because it's like the same thing. And I know we was missing Jalen Brunson, but the Heat were down a couple guys too. Once you saw you down as Haslam in the game, you know the Heat are down a lot of players.
Who the Heat down though? Who was missing?
Well,
Yeah,
the
I ain't gonna
Victor
lie, it was
Oh,
Oladipo,
different.
Oladipo, Oladipo.
Oladipo was out. Their backup center was out. A couple of they only dressed 9 guys or 10 guys, I believe. So
I mean, when Haslam was out, you knew something was up.
yeah. When Haslam was out there, I was like, hold on now, like
But
that
that
man.
team, bro, that's a team that realistically they match up well with us, but I don't know, man. I think they have good nights. Like today, they got some guys who that Strauss kid. He be hitting some threes, and they caught a team like the Knicks that were vulnerable at the 3 point line. So I feel like that's one thing that kind of kept them alive. But realistically, that I don't know, man. I don't. I'm not caught up in this Heat hype. I don't think the team is that good and it's not that deep. But
Well, it's
today,
tough to put a Eric Spoelstra team really away because that man, he's a coach. He's a
it's a
coach
fact.
that will out scheme you. It doesn't matter. Like he'll find your superstar's weakness. He will study it, and then you have a Heat team who are huge on fitness. Like these guys are all in shape, so they're all getting after it. They're all getting active. So it's tough to put that team really not get that team because they're always going to be there. And then you got two guys like Bam Adebayo and Jimmy Butler, two all stars there. That's what you need in the East right now. But it was still like a win that I'm like, man, this next team, man, I don't know what to do with them. I really don't know what to do with them because it's tough to really get hyped. Like, yo, what a good win. And then it's like, they just still messing up in the fourth quarter so bad.
Mhm.
Listen, I want to see like everybody healthy, Mitch, Jalen Brunson, and us facing this Heat team because something that we can't fail to mention is that ball movement in the fourth quarter. Like it was really moving. Like RJ would get double teamed, he'll pass it to whoever was in the middle, and we saw Grimes hit a big three. Even that Grimes shuffle past to Hardenstein, like that's something that if Jalen Brunson was here, we don't know what we would do because we always get caught up on this Brunson dribble, 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 or Randle dribble, dribble,
That's a
dribble.
fact, though.
So it's a win that you just question as far as like if something was different would have been the same result. But we got to show love to that ball movement. Hopefully, that's something that the Knicks are learning to do because it was effective. It was very effective to getting us this win. And in typical Knicks fashion, we make some dumb moves. Randle falls over. We allow a three, and Tyler Hero has a three to chance to win it with a three in the corner, but he didn't. So we,
So,
we
with that ball movement, you think that that has something to do with RJ being a little more of a focal point?
oh yeah,
You saw that
100%, 100%,
you,
because he was reading that defense. He was reading that defense, and is somebody whose handle we can admit is a little shaky. So he wanted to get rid of the ball. Brunson feels comfortable with the rock. He could
that's
dribble
a fact.
around the whole court. He could dribble around five people. It don't matter. We seen it.
That's a fact.
But RJ, who's a little shaky, he's like, nah, they doubly team me. Is all reading the defense, but also like, let me get rid of this rock. And Grimes is so good with that basketball. And I know we're gonna talk about it in a few, but if we bring in X player, like that means Grimes is gonna hit the bench, and that means we're not gonna have Grimes in the fourth quarter. So I need to get your thoughts, Zebo, before we continue. Like, what is your reaction to this Knicks Heat win, and who's a player that you want to show love to?
Yeah, man. I mean, honestly, just to going back to what you were saying, if we could take one positive out that game is the fact that the ball was moving. Because I do feel like the ball, I don't know if it's because players do get comfortable because Jalen Brunson is so good of a facilitator that sometimes people just, either stand around or we've been standing one-on-one. But the fact that I did see the ball moving, I saw RJ actually looking up, looking for that pass. I mean, obviously we're gonna expect Grimes to make the, to make the right play every time. And so, but everybody else was obviously passing the ball, trying to find the open shot. And so, yeah, man, if it's obviously the win was super ugly, but to see that they were moving the ball, that's one positive. And just going back to what Don Juan said, yo, shout out to Evan Fournier because he was active out there. Like honestly, that second quarter, that second third quarter could have got. I mean, it got ugly, but it could have been real bad. But I mean, the bench, honestly, they kept it afloat for us. They kept it afloat until that fourth quarter did, until we brought the starters back in. So yeah, man, shout out to Fournier, shout out to Hartenstein, because honestly, he's really stepped up these last few games. He's really actually pretty been big. He's been big for us since Mitch has been out, because obviously I think with Jericho Sims, with him still being a little bit inexperienced, obviously it's tough. It's gonna be tough for Tips to give him minutes. So shout out to my boy Hartenstein, man, and yeah, man, and McBride, he went and made a shot. So yeah, man, the bench really did their thing.
That was big. Those shots were big. I'll tell
Yeah,
you that, man.
nah, they were
Huge. That
super
was
big,
huge
man.
because yeah, you guys are hitting it right there on the nail on the coffin because realistically, right? Like we don't want to be too biased, but the Knicks have, let's say, I'll say six above average to above average basketball players, right? You have the starting five, and I'll say quickly, Obi, he could be that player, but he just doesn't get enough burn to really know. And then McBride, Hardenstein, they're right a little under. So you have six, let's say, average to above average basketball players. The Knicks have six of them. And when you're down two of them, you need somebody to step up. You need somebody to step up. And you got that from McBride, from Obi, from Fournier, especially in that second half. Because I feel like that second quarter quickly was not on the court. So they really didn't have nobody to get that offense. They were kind of confused, like, where are we getting offense from? So it was real good to see us still battle and get this win. And like Don Juan mentioned, the Heat, you can see their holes. That you can see their holes. They're a beatable team. They're not like before. Like, oh man, you got Miami coming in, and it's like you feel like you can't win. They've always had our number. So you get this win. You
But at
move
the
it to
same time,
one game.
they're gonna be well coached. Like they're gonna do they like
No,
it's
yeah,
not
yeah,
gonna be an easy win with them. Like
yeah. So look, we get into one game from Miami, from that six seed that you really want to get into. If you want to make the playoffs, you really want to get into that top six. And you move into one game, 29 games. We're gonna see this team three more times, fellas. Three more times. So we got to go to Miami twice, and we got to face them one more time. at the Garden. So in the next 29 games, we're gonna see this team
Mm,
3 times.
that's
So
huge. I didn't realize this was the first game that we played against them.
yeah, that's huge. That's huge, and that's kind of rare too. It's kind of rare that you
Nah,
play a
yeah, our
team.
schedule. Nah, honestly, our schedule starts getting tough. Like we really
Nah,
gonna
it's
see.
been
We're
tough.
actually
Starts,
really gonna
It's
see
been tough.
maybe.
starts. As you see, we
Nah, but
played
it's gonna get. I mean, yeah,
Lakers,
nah, this week,
Brooklyn,
yeah. Now that I'm
Celtics,
really now,
Cavs.
as I'm looking at all the games we did play, yeah, nah, it was yeah, because we did have Cleveland, we had Boston. I mean, LA is always, LA is LeBron is LeBron, so that's always gonna be tough. So yeah, nah, it was a tough week for us. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it was a very tough weekend. The Knicks didn't disappoint. They showed us that frustration, losing that game to the Lakers, so many boneheaded mistakes, losing that game against Brooklyn. That was tough. That was a game that we had to win.
Yeah, I
We
wanted
had
that
to
one.
win.
I wanted that one.
And we just didn't. Julius even said it, like we weren't prepared, and that is something that's pretty scary to say. 50 something games into the season, just not prepared against your crosstown rivals, a
Yeah.
game without their best player. You got to be prepared for that game, and for him to just come out and say we was not prepared, it was red flags, because like, what do you mean you're not prepared, and we can't use Mitchell Robinson injury as an excuse, because every team in the NBA has it. The Brooklyn didn't even have Kevin Durant.
Yeah.
So the 3-point shooting by other teams continues to be devil the Knicks, and man, I just don't know what can they do to fix it without a change in the coaching circle. But we're not gonna get into the coaching. Let's Knicks win 106
But the,
103. Let me shout out some of the guys out here. Julius Randle, All Star. First time mentioning that. We're gonna talk about that, but All Star Julius Randle. 7 turnovers.
Damn. Why you looking at so end? Why you looking at the end of the stat sheet? Jeez.
23 points, 10 rebounds. Look at this, 6 assists. Very important. Made a key pass to Grimes to hit a
Mhm.
little bit of, well, I thought it was a dagger three, but it got a little spicy, but still a big
It's
three.
never a dag
did you
against
have
the
to bring
Knicks.
up the 7 turnovers though? Like you
Yeah,
didn't
you
really have to
have to.
mention that.
For
You
real,
have
he
to.
started off the
You
whole
really didn't have to
topic
mention
All
on.
that
right,
though.
all right.
And
Let's
no
move
and knowing
on.
Jalen Brunson not there either. Like, come on.
RJ Barrett, 5 turnovers. He made a
Mm.
Oh,
couple,
that's regular. That's
two,
regular. I expect that.
two
I'm
of
not that
the
surprised.
worst turnovers. Like, RJ, what are you doing?
That
Just
was bad.
throwing away the ball into Bam
Yo,
Adebayo's hands, and
yo,
then another
talk to me,
turnover that
Triple M.
almost.
That's your man's Triple M. So
Hey, well, I said in the beginning of the show that his handles is shaky a little bit. He doesn't really want the ball, and today he was kind of forced to do it. He made some good reads. He made some good reads, and he made some bad turnovers. But I always say, for me personally, you learn from making mistakes, and he made some huge mistakes.
Mhm.
22 years old. 20. I keep saying this. 22 years old. His contract kicks in next year, so you can't even say he got the
yeah,
bag
this
yet.
is 4 feet. Yeah, I just know. Well, not notice, but because he's 22 years old, you don't notice this. But this is his fourth year.
Yeah, no, 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 no. He has to be better, but
He has to be
he
better.
really does never had the ball. I mean, Tibbs really never gave him the ball. It's always been in Randall's hand, or if it wasn't Payne, if it wasn't D Rose, this year's Brunson. I mean, think about fourth quarter RJ Barrett. Does he really ever have the ball in his hand?
Mm-mm.
It doesn't happen. Today it
And
did.
and as of
So,
late,
But does
he's
he
been
earn?
getting
But does
benched
he
in the
earn
fourth
the right
quarter.
to? But I guess my question to y'all is: does he earn the right to get that ball in the fourth quarter if he's playing shitty the whole? Like if you're playing shitty the whole game, why would I trust you in the fourth quarter?
I
Mhm.
mean,
Why don't
listen,
I just
RJ, this
why don't I like I mean those minutes have to be earned, right? So I mean it's tough, but at the same time, if Quickly and Grimes is giving me the production that I do need during the whole game,
we're
then
gonna talk about his
why
RJ benching the next right now. But listen, RJ's been clutch though, bro. Like he
Yeah.
hit some clutch shots. He hit some big time threes against Boston. So RJ, he has a reputation of playing bad, like the first 3 quarters, and the fourth quarter turning up.
Mhm.
Like this is not new. We watch. almost every game. Like we see him done this a lot of times. So you brought up a good point, but let's wrap up this Miami Knicks coverage. Let me just read off another stat by RJ, who had 30 points, 8 rebounds, 4 assists, just a huge game from RJ. Quickly, he got to start. Kind of quiet game from my boy, and he wasn't even out there for the fourth quarter. So they're not gonna
Well,
hear drama like that with RJ, but
But
quickly
RJ,
had
but I mean, I
eight
ain't
point
gonna
six
lie though,
rebounds
but
for
RJ
us.
kept us in the game. Like
Yeah,
again, he deserved to be in that fourth quarter because obviously he kept us in the game. But obviously he had it was up and down, but he still kept us in the game for he earned those minutes in the fourth quarter.
yeah, man. And Quinn Grimes, 17.4 rebounds, big time. How about this? The biggest Knicks with a plus minus today, Jericho Sims. He was a plus 16. He finished with an amazing stat line: 0 points, 1 assist, 2 rebounds.
He actually
Oh,
missed
he
his
was 0
first
for
shot.
one.
Yo, my boy
Missed
broke
his
He
his
first
missed a
streak
shot.
today.
shot. Oh, he
Bro,
missed
he
a
broke his streak
shot.
today. Come on, that was Mr. Perfect right there.
Man, I can't
My
believe
boy,
it.
Mr. One for One,
I'm gonna have to
Mr. One.
tweet. I was tweeting all his perfection, and now he missed a shot. I just noticed.
Come
I
on,
gotta look back. When
I
did he miss the shot? I don't even remember. I
I
don't even.
think
It
it was
was
like the
early in the
second
game.
quarter. You know what it
Early
was?
in
It
the
wasn't
game.
even a dunk. I think he tried to like modify. He tried to do like some little layup. I'm like, yo, bro, come on, bro. You can't do that.
Yo, Jericho Sims missed his first shot. He had made a shot for six consecutive games, but it was like one
No,
for
no, he
one,
didn't miss a
two
shot because
for.
last game he didn't even attempt a shot. Last game he was 0 for 0.
Oh man,
Oh,
Jericho Sims, man. Shout out to Sims. But yeah, let's talk about this topic with the RJ Barrett benching. Zebo, I
mm.
know you're gonna love it. He got benched last game. Grimes and quickly over RJ. It was shocking. He didn't want to talk to the media. He had nothing to say. He was saying so. Zebo, what you think about that RJ benching last game?
He deserved it, bro. I mean, I'll be honest. He deserved to get benched. Like the way he, honestly, the way he did play that whole game. I mean, come on, be honest. Let me ask y'all. Would I feel like y'all definitely would have been more frustrated if either Quickly or Grimes was on the bench, right?
Nah.
Like,
No,
come on, man. It just is what it like. It just is what it is. Like, I'm gonna give. I like, and Tibbs is thinking this. Like, again, me and Tibbs.
Oh,
Sometimes, like,
oh
obviously,
man, you with
obviously, he'd be a
Tibbs.
little shaky with some.
yo, he's about to
He'd be a
get
shake. He'd be a
fired.
little shake.
Oh,
He'd be a little shaky. I'm not gonna lie, but at the same time, like he saw the same thing I saw. He saw that Quickly was, he was giving us a chance that whole game. He was doing everything we needed
Oh
him to do, and
man,
Grimes was playing well too. So, and honestly, the way RJ was playing defense, again, those are the guys. Those are the guys that I did want in that fourth quarter. I just feel like if RJ was in the game, I don't think that game goes to overtime. Because again, you mentioned it before. He does have a shaky handle, and some of his decisions with the ball is questionable. So, I mean, do you really want him in those? Do you really want him in those situations late in the fourth quarter?
I
I
almost
mean,
fell asleep.
I'm sorry to
I
say
almost
it.
fell
But
asleep with your take right now. I
come
just
on.
he had a couple bars. I'm not gonna lie, he had a couple bars.
no, no, yeah, he was spinning. He was spinning a little bit. But listen, bro, if you look back at that game, Quentin Grimes wasn't really doing nothing either.
Mhm.
He just wasn't doing that. And this is where I'm like Hardenstein, which is he was not gonna get replaced by RJ. And quickly, they played the last 24 minutes of the game, bro.
That was the
Like
most
you just
surprising part,
can't
man.
do
The
that.
time management again, but this has always been an issue that we had with Tibbs
You
as far
have
as how
to.
he does
You
manage
have
the
to.
time with the players. So I feel that, but when we're talking about late in the fourth quarter, again, I just don't. I do
Listen,
want him.
RJ was
I'm
playing
really, I'm
spooky. He
sorry.
dribbled the ball off his foot right into the team. I think he was like 1 for 9 from the field. But then he got a couple. He was starting to get hot in that fourth quarter, though, bro. He made like 3, 4 shots in a row, and obviously he was gonna take a breather. But I just like today's game. You just have to keep him out there to kind of learn the game, learn the flow against the Lakers. Big game. It It's tough, man. It's not easy.
But
It's
how
not
much
easy.
time are you gonna give him though? Because again, you know what the thing is, bro. You really coddle this man,
All
and
right,
we have
maybe,
to stop
Uh,
doing. We
maybe
have to
you're right.
stop. Like
you,
we have to stop. I mean,
all
come
right.
on. Like
Look,
at this
look,
point, we need him. We need him to start. We need him to start
A
producing
hundred
for us. Like
percent. You're
again,
right.
he,
I understand. I understand that Julius and Jalen Brunson are the ones handling the ball, but again, these guys are making plays for us. Whether if it's good, obviously with Randall again, you're very critical about some of the decisions Randall makes, but at the same time, the good overweighs the bad. And again, and again, he's a person he's a person that regardless of what's going on, he wants that ball in his hand, and he's gonna do his thing. So again, I want RG to start. If he really wants to be that second, if he really wants those minutes, he needs to start forcing the issue a little more, and start making the right plays.
uh, forcing
Now
the issue.
hold up. He got to get the solo layout, bro. Zebo's spitting right
Yeah,
now. Hold up. Oh, they ain't finished.
it's
He finished.
it's
He finished.
it's just
My
yeah,
boy
no, no, I'm
Sibo
fine,
was
man.
going off right now. Don Juan, get Don Juan the solo layout right now. We need Don Juan to spit right now. Let's see what
Nah,
you guys
man, Zebo,
He's
you
going to
spend a lot
agree
of
with me.
facts.
He's going to agree with me.
say.
No, no, no. I'm gonna agree with part of the things you say. You do your spin facts. You know that he has to be more. There has to be like a better decision making when it comes to RJ with the ball. But when you got Jalen Brunson that's so dominant, Julius Randle that's so dominant, and you're just limited to being a corner shooter, you really can't get a flow of what your game is. As you saw today, he had the ball a little bit more in his hands today, and the offense is a little more fluid. So if he could have that role a bit more, I think we could see what RJ is really about right now. We paid RJ, the potential's there, and I will continue saying he is limited. His bag isn't deep offensively, but he knows what he's good at. And you see multiple times he sees that mismatch, he's attacking. He's a strong finisher, but as long as he has that mismatch, if the matchup isn't there, I do sometimes feel like he forces the matter. You're saying forcing the matter, but it's like, how much are we trying to force the matter? Because a lot of times he forces the matter and it ends up being either a turnover or a crazy missed layup. So it's one
But
of
I
those
guess
things that he
that's
does have to, you know, weigh it out. But at the same time, I do think that he's almost like forced to take these shots because if not, he doesn't really have the opportunity to to create on his own. So he's forcing matters when he doesn't have to. But at the
Yeah,
same time, there's no offense going around him. So it's like I got the ball. Let me just take it to the rack and taking advantage of this opportunity with the ball. But
but nah, yeah,
RJ,
bro. But I mean,
he's
nah,
shown, and this is something else that I wanted to say.
yeah.
And even with a bad game, look at how bad of a game he had against the Celtics. And what did he do? He hit the biggest shot of the game. So there's one of those things where you have to have him out there. At the end of the day, he's one of your best players. Something that I do want to see how, and Tip seems like he's weighing out. He's seeing how, like, this guy's in rhythm, this guy is not, which is what I saw the RJ benching as. But against the Lakers to have him out for that long, like fourth quarter, he damn near missed the whole fourth quarter. The overtime didn't even touch the floor. It's like at that point, it was more than just the flow. It seems like Tibbs there's some frustration building with Tibbs and RJ.
But I guess my only thing is, bro, with that, because I agree with what you're saying. I just disagree with not giving him the opportunities. I feel like we've given him the opportunities to, for him to go ahead and try to be a playmaker, to go ahead and, give him the ball in his hands and, go ahead and go to work. And it just hasn't happened, bro. It's not it, bro. It's just not it. I've told y'all this before. I don't think he'll ever be a first, second. Again, he's going to be a third. I think he's a guy that's going to be a third, fourth option. And when you in that third, fourth, when you're that third, fourth option, you're not expected to have the ball in your hands. You're expected to go ahead and be that person that's good off ball. Looking for the open jump shots, as you said. Because again, in that Boston game, what was he doing? He was again, he was cutting. He was going around looking, looking for his spots in the court, for those open threes. And That just is what it is. But also, I need to. But that's not even the offense is not even it. It's just like the defense. Honestly, it was really like it's been a little bit alarming because obviously he did pretty. He did good on D today, but on that Lakers game, like he just wasn't showing it on D, and that's where he really has to start really focusing on. Because I mean, if he has his limitations on offense, he better start showing it on defense.
Yeah, nah, that's a great point, bro. Because that's where I really was concerned during the Laker game. You just saw Russell Westbrook blow right by him a few times. You
But
know,
it's Westbrook.
I mean, but it's Westbrook, but we seen Westbrook be a little washed this year. So
Yeah, but don't get me wrong. After watching that game, Westbrook
And Westbrook is not
might be the
even like
cheat
their
code.
first second.
He might be the cheat code against the Knicks because he drives in, we crash in the paint crazy, and he just dishes it out. Like, bro, what the hell is going? He does the
yeah,
same thing every time.
That
exactly.
was like
Case
our
from looking at
It's a
expectation
him.
for
frustrating
RJ,
game.
but and going back to just real quick, but we expect RJ to be guard. Like honestly, for you to have Westbrook like putting in you on off, and that's bad because we expect RJ to be the person that should be guarding LeBron the whole game, not necessarily Westbrook. Like we want you on the opposing team's number one guy. Like so, if you can't even do that, then come on, what
Nah,
we
but
doing
I
here?
just think
Why would he guard
that matchup.
LeBron?
That matchup isn't fair
Because
though,
that's what
bro.
we expect them. And
That's
again,
not a fair
because again,
matchup.
Either both is not a fair matchup. Westbrook
bro,
is super
RJ, bro,
fast, bro.
I'll give
RJ
RJ
can't
this,
guard
bro.
neither of
He
them.
RJ is 6'8", 230. Like again,
No,
he's
he
a
is.
He's
big
not
boy.
Nah,
He's
6'8", bro.
6'7",
he's like
he's
6'6".
6'7". He's 6'7", but he's big, bro. Like he has the
He's a
length
big six
where
six. I agree.
he's a big 6'7". Like again, he's a big dude. Where honestly, I do expect him to be like
Not
with his
LeBron.
body type. Yeah, I do want him guarding LeBron.
Zebo,
And
Zebo.
again, bro. Again, this is LeBron. Like he's gonna make most people look small. It just is what it is. But I expect RJ to be on the opposing team's number one option.
Yeah, I mean not LeBron, but I get your point.
Yeah.
We already know how I feel about RJ labeling a 22-year-old as a third, fourth, fifth option. It's wicked to me, but it is what it is. This is what we do. I think he had 30 today. He had 30 today. Let's just push it forward because we now make this the RJ Barrett show right now. Shout out to RJ who had 30 tonight.
Shout out
My
to
God.
RJ, man. For real,
My
for real.
God. So listen, fellas, this is the last show maybe before the All Star, before the
Trade
trade deadline. Trade deadline, fellas, is next Thursday, 3 p.m. We probably cook something up soon. We'll let y'all guys know. So we'll definitely be here giving you trade deadline reaction and what happened. But we gotta talk about a couple players who might be coming in and who might be leaving.
Mm.
So the Knicks, there's a lot of noise, a lot of chatter coming out of Toronto with OG Anunoby, the small forward from Toronto. The Knicks are prepared to offer multiple first round picks for OG. They want him here. Leads the league in steals, 36% shooter from downtown. I think it will be add to the clunkiness of the starting lineup, but we'll talk about it right now. And Cam Reddish, he might be on the way out. There was a report that said earlier by Ian Begley who said that Cam expressed displeasure about the way Tibbs was using him, and Cam Reddish hasn't played since, expressing that displeasure. So it could be that could be a reason. There's been a weird situation about the Cam Reddish, but gotta start with the OG news, man. We talked about this last week, Don Juan. We put some fake OG trades, but here as we get 1 week away, give me your final thoughts on OG. What kind of package are you willing to offer, and how do you feel he will be on this squad?
Well, last week, if I'm not mistaken, I said something like two protected picks, Fournier and Cam. Seems like the bar's been set at 3 picks. Hopefully, I'm not gonna lie, I wouldn't mind 3 picks if it's two protected, and I think that's all we got in terms of protected first round picks. What I
we
throw in the unprotected? Is it wait? What is it?
we
Is it
have four picks protected. We have Detroit, Washington's, and this year's Dallas, and we have Milwaukee's. So we
so?
have four protected picks.
I'll throw three of the best unprotected picks.
But we need
I mean, protected. Sorry,
one. We
protected.
have to add one, no matter what, bro. We have
Thanks,
to add at least one unprotected pick. So, are you willing
so,
to
am I
offer?
willing? Yes, I am
Okay,
willing. I am willing to throw in a one unprotected. I would probably choose a later one, not this summer. At the end of the day, I think this draft is. I mean, the rumors or the hype is behind this draft. 2023 draft class is crazy. So I wouldn't mind sticking with this one. But yeah, we're gonna have to unleash at least one of them, at least to get a guy of his caliber. Obviously, he's not a guy that's gonna get us to number one, number two. But I do think, let's say, like a team like the Cavs, we start getting into that conversation. We're getting a guy that, at the end of the day, I mean, the role that he'll play on this team is starting small forward. You see how you're saying RJ is gonna be guarding the best player? Well, RJ won't have to guard the best player anymore. You got OG Ananobi who's gonna be able to step up and face the LeBrons, the KDs, the Kawhi Leonard's, the Giannis. Like he's gonna be able to face up. And then in the East, I mean, those are Giannis, KD. Those are guys that if we really want to make it to the next level, we need somebody that's gonna be there every day, or at least in a 7 game series that's gonna put pressure on these guys. So a guy like him that doesn't really need the ball. He could shoot the three and could also put the ball on the floor if need to, but at the same time, he knows his role. He might be someone that, eventually he might be priced out of the Knicks cap. But we're talking about today to right now. Is a guy that's gonna be able to help us. And if he is gonna be the one starting, Grimes is gonna hit the bench. And guess what we haven't had all season is some bench step, and Grimes is just gonna provide that. The only thing is, the only worry I would have is the minutes distribution. Minutes have been a big deal already, with the RJ benching situation. IQ playing well, Grimes, we got to have him out there because he's a defensive stopper. Are we gonna see, a situation where OG's closing over RJ? But that's hopefully that'll be a situation. That's a good situation to deal with later on if we are in that, if we do make a move like that. But yeah, I'm interested in OG man. OG would be a good piece, like I said, defensive stopper, and I think right now we could use someone that could be a guy that could face these guys because like Zebo said, RJ can't guard these guys, and that's not. And personally, I don't think he should be. But now with a guy like OG, he'll be able to get in front of these guys.
yeah, Zebo. I mean, my fault. Don Juan. That's a great point. Before I kick it to you, Zebo, OG trade. Listen, it's hard for me because I I can't see myself. I mean, OG's a good player, definitely will be a plus on this team, but I can't. These are the negatives that I just can't see myself being convincing myself of. I can't see myself us not trading first round picks or limiting first round picks for Donovan Mitchell and then turning around and trading one or two or three, one protected, but still it's just we were so like, hold up, we need a whole unprotected first round pick in this Donovan Mitchell trade, but then we're trading some for OG Ananobi, who he's not Donovan Mitchell, you know what I mean? And then two, you mentioned it, the minutes distribution, like that's a good problem to have. We'll figure it out. I don't know if I trust Tom Thibodeau to figure it out and to make these right decisions. I'm a little iffy. And then three, I it's so hard because Grimes he's just not that tall to guard the. Not even going big like LeBron, like the DeMar DeRozan's out there, or players like that, like good wings. Jason Tatum is hard for him to
Even
guard.
Jalen
So
Brown, he's
yeah,
a
like
pretty great
so
guard too.
it's hard to really, Grimes is a great defender, but these guys are just bigger, stronger than him, and you can't do nothing when these guys are just bigger and stronger than you. So OG will come and knock that problem out for us. But so you're talking about taking Grimes out the starting lineup. Now you have a starting lineup of Brunson, RJ, OG, Randle, and Mitch, and it's like that's a good starting lineup, but it's still a little clunky. Like you're getting shooting sometimes from like these hot and cold players all year. So it he's a good player that would definitely benefit us. Will be a great addition if we could get him. My worries are the asking price will be too much. Let's just say for argument's sake, we keep most of our core guys, the starting five. You taking Grimes, your best point of attack defender. You putting him on the bench now, and now it's just like it's gonna take. I mean, I could easily see myself getting convinced of it if I see the package, or maybe not. But it's hard for me, bro. It's
So
hard for
maybe
me.
not, maybe not.
Maybe not because, bro, all these issues that I just said, like I don't trust Tibbs. We talked about that RJ benching. Like what are you gonna do now when you have quickly Grimes and OG and RJ now? Like what are you
No,
gonna
yeah,
do?
yeah. And I hear that.
It,
And you know
it, it's
Tibbs ain't going small, so
it's tough. And then I was watching some tape on OG. The Raptors switch on defense a lot. The Knicks try not to switch, and they try to do that drop coverage, and it's like OG is good at switching because he can guard every position because he's so versatile. So now, are the Knicks gonna switch their entire defensive scheme? I don't think so. But
that is true.
I would feel comfortable if it was like just the unprotected, bro. But I know it's not gonna take that. So a protected pick, man, because the Knicks are so frustrating. You want to see this year's team get better, but just adding that unprotected. Maybe if it was like in 2025 or something where you add OG and you just continuously add more, maybe yes, but it's tough for me. Zebo, what you got to say about this OG? What would you feel comfortable giving away? And how do you feel about OG overall?
Yo, bro, I'll be honest. I don't want to give anything away. Like I don't feel good about this at all. Like I'll be honest with you. Number one, because just because of Toronto's GM. Like I put Masai Ujiri in that Danny Ainge role. Like those are the finesses of the NBA. So any type of deal that they will try to make, they're gonna try to get there. They're
Good
gonna
point.
try to finesse the other team. And so I don't like it for that standpoint. Just going to OG. I feel the same way. He's a good player, but again, he has his limitations on offense, which is honestly something that I mean, as much as we emphasize the defense, I think we like 25th, 26th in like 3-point shooting. Like our shooting is bad right now. Like we actually, like, honestly, the need that we need right now is that we need consistent shooting. Because some of the shooting displays we've been doing, it's been bad. So he doesn't really help us in that aspect. And just, I mean, again, as much as obviously I'm here, I criticize RJ crazy, but what does that tell RJ? Like, if we end up bringing this dude in, like, because essentially what we're telling him is that, yo, like, this might be your replacement. And so what does that do? What does that do to his psyche? And going back to what Don Juan's saying, like,
Wait,
again,
why would
honestly,
that be RJ's replacement though? Well, I don't get that one.
because again, he essentially plays almost the same. Now, again, you can go ahead and put OG as in the in a shooting guard position,
No,
but
no, the three.
okay,
RJ was slot to the two. RJ's a natural two.
or you can go ahead and put him at the two. But again, going back to what Don Juan said, as far as again, as far as on offense, again, that's less possessions that you're gonna go ahead and give RJ. So again, what does that do to RJ's mindset? Like, knowing that, okay, this man, again, if he ends up doing well, again, you're giving more responsibility to this guy and less to me. So what does that say to him? And so,
Not,
because essentially, I'll be honest, I see like OG kind of reminds me of RJ. He's limited on offense. Really, honestly, probably a little better just because he's a lead on defense. But again, they both have their limitations on offense. Again, they do have that NBA body where they can go ahead and guard anybody, but I just don't see it, because that's not necessary. I don't think that's the biggest need that we need. I don't think that's our biggest need. So I just don't see it
okay.
for those aspects.
One thing I would say is that You really don't like RJ, man.
Yo,
So
for
It's
real,
not
said
that I
that
don't. It's not
him and
that
RJ
yo.
on
But
the
bro.
honestly, but
same.
I'm trying to keep. What I'm letting y'all know is that I like. What does that do
Bro,
for
they don't play
RJ?
the
Because
same
obviously,
offensive
I
game.
want to give him.
Far from it.
But again, going back to what I was saying, as far as it takes away opportunities, it takes away opportunities for him. So again,
He's a you know
really
OG is a great role player.
Yes,
He's not gonna be taking people's he's
when
not gonna be taking the ball out of
I feel the
RJ's
same
hand.
way, but I feel the same way
Julius,
about RJ too. So
damn,
again, so
bro.
where does that leave us?
Jeez.
oh,
Like I'm
man.
saying the same thing too. So again,
Debo coming
I
out,
legit see
coming,
the same player.
bro. You're
So I
getting
just
really
don't think
close to the remove.
like y'all sending RJ the wrong message if you do end up bringing him here.
But I
Like
don't think
honestly,
he would
I
I,
don't want to
I
trade
don't
RJ
see
as
that
much as
issue. I
I
don't see
don't see
that
that.
issue
I
to
feel
be
like
honest.
the one
I
directly
see it.
getting
I think it
affected
just
is Grimes.
I think it sends a wrong message to RJ. If you bring this man in, he's gonna continue struggling. I feel like, to be honest with you.
I mean,
I
yeah,
feel like
that's a good opinion
if you
of
bring this
yours.
guy in, I feel like he's gonna continue struggling. Like I
That's a
want to give him the opportunity so that we can try to evaluate him to see what we got. Like I know everybody talking about because if we bench him, like yo, RJ might be out. Honestly, I want to keep RJ on this team right now for this season. I want to
it
keep
doesn't
him
seem
on what
like
we
it.
have.
Mm.
Nah, I want to keep him. I want to keep him because again, he's a good third, fourth option. So and again, that's something
Jeez,
that
you just
we
bringing
need.
him. Who was at third, man? Why not your
He
fourth?
said four. Listen, man, they don't play the same offensive game, but it's we'll feel it. We'll see how we feel. We'll see how we feel the next trade for OG. What's the package, and then we'll properly react to that. But I want to talk about Cam Reddish before we get up out of here. Cam Reddish racked up DMPs. Hasn't played since December 3rd against Dallas. Um, his time, fellas, finally might be out. So I want to ask you guys two questions here. Um, give me one player, Zebo. I'm gonna start with you. Give me one player that you would like to target in the trade deadline, rapid fire. One player you would like to target in the trade deadline, and your final thoughts on the debacle of the Cam Reddish situation.
Yo, man, honestly, real quick, one player, Malik Beasley. He's a shooter, great off the could be great off the bench. Something we can plug him in right away. It's gonna go ahead and help us with our shooting. As far as the Cam, man, I feel bad for him because man, like him racking up all this DMPs. I know he must be frustrated right now because he could really help us right now, even in a limited role. So and honestly, just for him too, because I'll be honest, coming out of college, like I thought he was a little better than RJ. Like I don't want to I hate going back to it, but I thought he was like he definitely got an offensive bag. So to see him just sitting on the bench is just not cool. It's not cool up to this point.
Yeah, yeah, it was a weird situation. Um, Before I kick it to you, Don Juan, one player I would like to target. I think I would have to agree with Zebo. I've been saying this for a while already. Malik Beasley, he's my guy that I think doesn't cost too much. He wouldn't cost too much and still
Huh?
give the Knicks flexibility.
That's
And
debatable.
and I saw people talking about Eric Gordon and Gary Harris. I mean, those are two guys that are playing against on rebuilding teams who not really giving their all. And I saw that their contracts are non-guaranteed next year, but they are non-guaranteed after the trade deadline. So that's a trade that the Knicks have been doing. You know, it gives them flexibility. If they want to add that, if a star becomes available again, you have that big contract where you can match salaries. And I feel like those two guys as well, they wouldn't cost too much, and they will give the Knicks what they need off the bench, which is some 3-point shooting and some play making ability. So I kind of talked myself into Eric Gordon a little bit.
I
Like
like Eric
Damn,
Gordon. I
bro.
like Eric Gordon. I like Eric Gordon.
I think he will be. I just again going to Tom Thibodeau. I don't know if Tips can like give him 15, 20 minutes, but I think he'll give us what we need as far as the shooting. He's a deep 3-point shooter too. You got to guard him from like 30 feet away, and he could put the floor on the deck. He drives all the time. So, and I don't
Yeah,
think he'll cost us a first round pick. And his contract is partially guaranteed next year. So if it doesn't work out, we'll just let him walk. If a trade materializes for a big name, or who knows, maybe you could keep him for an expiring and maybe use him next trade deadline. So that's a player. And then the Cam Reddish situation, man, it's sad all around because the Knicks gave up the first round that we've said this many times for him, and then you just let this talent waste without properly evaluating it because let's be honest, you could think what you think about Cam. He's not him. He's okay. He's a role player. He's two teams passed on him. But when you look at this Knicks squad, he could help us. He could
Mhm.
help us no matter what when you see what's coming off the bench. So it's final thoughts on Cam Reddish. It was a disappointing ride. This was a maybe the biggest black guy that the Knicks front office has done so far. Right next to Obi situation. Like if we weren't gonna play him, then we should have never traded him. And we can't discredit that first round pick because the Hawks traded that first round pick in the DeJounte Murray trade. So like I said, I think personally is one of the biggest black guys. Even though that I think we all in agreement that Cam, we don't think he's like what a lot of people think, like the next Paul George or the next this guy, that guy, you know. But it was still just giving up that first round pick. Don Juan, what you got to say?
Well, you took one of my guys in that selection of who we should target, Eric Gordon. I agree, man. That's a guy. On top of the fact that the contract situation it works out for us, especially if you're trying to remain flexible. Eric Gordon is essentially he's 3 and D. He's not bad defensively. I think one of the key players that although he had a pretty good game today, offensively and defensively, McBride. I do think that he's the one guy that I think we should replace in the rotation. We need some more offensive power off the bench, and I personally, well, truly believe that Eric Gordon would give us that. Guy could shoot, put the ball on the floor like you said, Triple M. He likes to win. He's not somebody that he's in Houston right now. They losing mad games, and he hates the situation that he's in. But that's the business of the NBA. They just playing around, waiting to see what deal unfolds and try to get something out of it because they're tanking. And that's a guy that personally I think that we could get on a deal. We don't got to give up too much. The
Right.
Ananobi deal, I like it because it moves us up into a tier that we're still moving up and we're not, and even still, it's not messing up our core. At least for what the market value has apparent what the market value is. But a guy like Eric Gordon, where we don't even gotta really go into the chest and get get deep in there with like picks and whatnot, touching our core players, even the back of the bench. I highly doubt that the back of the bench is gonna get touched. So a guy like him, it'll be a win-win in both cases for even Nick fans. I feel like, except for the Cam Hive. The Cam Hive is probably gonna be really disappointing. But they've been disappointed for this whole time at him as a Nick, and I mean they
Exactly.
probably been
Yeah.
disappointed for him with the Hawks too, and that's where I stand. He had his time with the Hawks. He dealt with a lot of injuries. I can't lie, he dealt with a lot of injuries, but because of that, he was not reliable, fell out of the rotation. Probably was some character problems that maybe even forced the issue where they're not even playing him. And he's here in New York. They probably found the first team like, damn, we'll take a protected first round pick. I'll take it.
Yeah.
And the Knicks, at the end of the day, they probably felt like, at least the front office felt like, you know what, this guy is untapped. Bring him to a team that actually could use him. You talking about a guy that's built for a Tibbs type of defensive scheme, even offensively too. But unfortunately, they had to. I swear, there had to be some between them. Obviously, they just came out that Tibbs and Cam was talking about Tibbs and whatnot, how he felt about the benching or just the minute distribution, and he got benched. Obviously, the for what I saw is that assistant coach probably passed the word on to Tibbs, and that's why you need to watch out who you talking to in that staff, but. at the same time, that might have been just an obvious thing that he was just carrying with him as an attitude. Like, yeah, this guy's not playing me. I'm not really. He's never gonna play me, so I'm not even gonna play. You know.
Yeah,
And then knowing that he might be gone, or he might be traded in the deadline, it's probably a man, this team don't even want me. They're not building around me. Like, let me just not even go crazy, get hurt for a team that don't even want me. So it has to be some of that, because at the same time, bro, like, this
yeah,
guy, he screams potential. You see the moments. I mean, from the game one, he hit a clutch shot. We might have lost the game against Memphis, but he hit one of the biggest shots that I've seen him hit. And personally, after that, I'm like, oh, this guy could ball. And you see flashes of the Paul George that people be seeing, but at the same time, the consistency ain't there. And that Dallas game that he hasn't played since might have been the worst game of his career, man. So I'm okay with the experiment. Obviously, we lost the first round pick, but these are moves that we were making a gamble on. It was a move that, and I still say that it's technically a two second round picks, but then after evaluating one more time, the Knicks actually gave a first round pick to the Hornets for that pick. So even if that pick that the Hornets pick didn't convey, the Knicks gave up a pick. I'm not
yeah.
sure if I remember they traded the 18th pick for a protecting top 19 pick. So it really is a first round pick. I was lying to myself telling me, nah, it's two second round.
Nah, man,
I
we
look
can't.
back because you know how the Knicks, they just trade back to another draft and they never draft. But
We have to admit it was a first
yeah,
round pick.
it
It,
was
don't-
a
it
first.
don't matter. It don't matter. But we gotta close out this show. I'm not gonna even say that first. Don't want you either. I'm gonna give the solo to our guy. We have to. Julius Randle today was named to the All Star game, his second All Star appearance. Got to give it up to Julius Randle. Got his mind right, got his body right, and he's averaging 25 points a game, 11 rebounds, and 4 assists. He's our only All Star. Jalen Brunson did not make the team. Zebo, what do you got to say about Julius Randle making the All Star?
Man, I've been screaming his praises, every single episode. It's just, yo, I'm honestly, man, I'm proud of my guy, man, because obviously last year was, it was rough. Like, it was rough for me to watch. It was rough for all of us to watch, with the thumbs down and all the criticism and him not speaking to the media. But me, you and me, Triple M, we spoke off camera as far as what he did this off season to, just really get his mind right and take accountability for what did happen last year. And it shows, man. Like, he's really been the obviously, Jalen Brunson. He's been our number one guy, but man, you can really tell the growth this season from Julius Randle as far as making keeping his composure, and all these in all these close games, him communicating with his teammates, getting his teammates to the right spot. And there'll be times where he loses his cool a little bit, but he's a passionate guy, but not never going overboard. And he's been obviously he's been speaking to everybody, so he's done everything we needed him to do. And yeah, man, just shout out to him, man, because he's really grounded. So
Yeah, yeah,
let's see
Julius Randle, man.
25.
We got to give Zebo. I know Zebo was down and give him praise and love. Salute to Julius Randle, second All Star as a reserve. We got to look it up. I mean, I think Melo used to always get voted in as a fan because he was so popular. But who got voted in as a reserve for the next 2 times? I mean, that's an interesting stat to look up. But you got to give it to my man. He's playing better than the most improved year. His points is higher. His rebounds is higher. His assists is a little lower, but that's just the fact of Jalen Brunson being in town. And he's just playing just so much at ease now. You can see it in his game. If the 3 point shot is not falling, he's trying to make it. He's not doing that spin move into a turnover as much. And I've said this a lot. Listen, Julius is an imperfect basketball player. Tom Thibodeau doesn't exactly put him in the best spot always, but we're not gonna get too much into the whole, but man, shout out to Julius Randle. Congratulations. Jalen
Thanks.
Brunson got snubbed but it is what it is. You kind of see, I mean, having two All Stars when you're like the seventh, eighth seed is kind of tough.
Hmm.
So, but we'll take it. We'll take that Julius
Yeah.
Randle All Star. Don Juan, what you got to
Even
say?
Yeah, man.
one about Brunson. I mean, in the East, it was just tough to make it overall.
Yeah.
It seemed like even Randall was on the cusp of not making it. How deep the East is. But congrats to Randall. I was actually that was my hot take. Although for some reason after half of the season or a little bit over or a little bit more than half of the season has played out, it seemed like that hot take wasn't really so hot. It seems like Randall probably was a shoe-in because based on he at the end of the day he's still putting up close to 20 and 10. All you need to do is add some W's behind that, and you might get a chance. But he has been playing even better than that. I mean, the guy went on a tear. What was it in January? He had like a streak of 30-point games with double digit rebounds, which is something that we might have been critical of. He's not really going after the ball, and even on the defensive end, although he began burn, he's still putting the effort out there. Body language is completely different. So, and I personally, I thought that he would come in like this, and another reason is I've been a fan of Julius for years now. I mean,
Oh, whoa,
I
whoa,
was I
Zebo,
was
you
a
gonna let that rock, right?
I was a Kobe fan. Well, not was I am a Kobe fan, biggest Kobe fan you probably meet. But I saw Randall on the come up already, so him joining the Knicks for me was like, okay, we probably might flip him for Marcus Morris, get a pick. It didn't pan out that way, but even still, I gave him the benefit of the doubt. Last year might have been it was a down year for him, but even still, I felt like the fans were really bashing him when he's still a good player. At the end of the day, people really think he ain't worth nothing. And maybe they seeing it as like, well, the Knicks ain't trading him and people aren't offering picks for him. He's not worth much. But how about if the Knicks aren't offering him? Last week I said we got to get over the fact that the whole Trey Randall thing. He's on our team, but realistically, he's been the most consistent player on our team, carrying us on our back. Besides, Brunson, who's the next guy up. But at the same time, there's a bunch of games that Brunson had his 30 some point games, but he also had a bunch of 12, 10, games like that too, where Randall's been a consistent 20 or damn near 20 and 10 every night. So
Don Juan, I don't want to cut you off, but Zebo, this is for 30-year and younger Knicks fans right here, like me. We all are here. Listen, Zebo said Julius Randle is the second best player he's seen live. We're not talking about Patrick Ewing or Sprewell. We was young.
I never. Yeah,
So we talking
yeah.
about,
It was
let's say, from
already. Yeah.
2000 to 2023. Would you agree that he's the second best player that you've seen?
That's a
what I
fact.
agree.
Because
You would agree?
I mean,
Second best?
for me
I
personally, because look, listen, I think I started being a fan right when Allen Houston was that's it. His knees was shot. Like he had those spurts. He had those spurts where obviously where you saw it like okay, nah, he's definitely that guy. But the injuries plagued him, and then obviously we went through that stretch of what Jamal Crawford, where it was like our best player. So
Hey, don't disrespect
we
Stephon
had Zach.
Marbury.
No, I'm not. Nah, but come on, he didn't even make an All-Star team for us. All his All-Stars whenever he was with Phoenix and New Jersey. So again, we didn't even see that from him. And then again, Melo obviously that's top one. And then even on that Melo team, can you really say anybody else is like actually better than Randall? No, you can't.
Mm.
And then even after
Zebo
that, and then
speaking
after that,
spicy. Yeah, I asked Don Juan the question. I didn't ask you to justify your
my fault,
your
my,
Bro,
answer.
my fault, my
bro.
fault, my fault. Go ahead, go
But
ahead, go
but
ahead.
like I'm not gonna lie, man. Zebu spit facts, man.
Ooh,
I actually agree, and
ooh,
personally, this is something that Knicks fans is gonna have to get over. Randall's gonna be here for a while.
oh,
He's gonna set a lot of Knicks records. He's gonna be on a lot
oh.
of Knicks highlights, and he's gonna be in the discussion of maybe not all time great Knicks, maybe not top five, but he'll probably be in the top 10 of all time Knicks players.
Oh, nah, the fellas, ladies and gentlemen, are talking spicy right after Julius Randle All Star now. We got to finish the show here. It got too hot. It got too hot. It got too scalding.
I mean,
It
hey,
got
I
spewed
was
by
hot
Zebo.
early in the year. I said Randall All Star. Now I'm gonna get hot again, and I'm gonna say Randall gonna end up top 10 in Knicks history.
Oh my Zebo, get us out of here, man. It's getting too crazy with the gang.
Yeah. Yo, keep liking, keep subscribing, man. Nah, this is a great show with my guys, man. So you already know, man. Like, subscribe, man. Keep watching the episode, keep supporting, man. We got, my boy Don Juan and Triple M got surprises for y'all. So I'm gonna let y'all go, man. But thank y'all for watching.
Don Juan, what you gotta say?
Don Juan signing out. Knicks, cardiac Knicks, right back at it again. You know, it ain't nothing changed, man. But the date is also February. What is it? February 2nd, going to the third. Early. You know, we start a new month. You know, new goals, new achievements. Hopefully, the Knicks are also on the same page, and you know, we keep winning some more games. Nice way to start the new month, beating the Heat. But the grind don't stop here. Trade deadline next week. It's gonna be a lot to talk about. Make sure to subscribe. Make sure to like the channel. Make sure to like the vid. And if you agree or disagree, comment on the vid. Let us know who you sided with. Let us know who you don't agree with. Let us know if you're tired of the RJ slander because Zebo been testing it. Zebo been testing it. But nonetheless, it's Knicks fans wilding, man. I hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure to like and subscribe.
Yeah, you already know the vibes, man. Triple M, Zebo said it. We all got surprises. Zebo part of the gang too. You already know, man. And listen, NBA trade deadline next week is gonna be very exciting time. Knicks beat the Heat, sitting on the sixth seed. I mean the seventh seed, one game out of the sixth seed in February. I mean, it's been a while since we said that, besides the COVID year. So this Knicks team is different from other teams. There's so much to talk about, so much gonna happen, man. I'm just glad I'm here talking it with my guys, Zebo, Don Juan, Triple M. Thank you for watching, man. You already know the vibes.
Peace.
Sure.